Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's rendition of Speak Your Mind with Larry Cox. Great to have all of you here tonight. I was not here last week because I was, excuse me, my camera got messed up a little bit there. I was uh, on vacation last week, and I decided that I was not going to try to do a show because the internet connection where I was not very good and just didn't make sense. So I decided to uh, not have a show, and that worked out okay. And I am back tonight with all you guys. So let me go ahead and start off with saying hello to some people that are in the chat tonight. So Mary Boysworth, good evening. William Campbell, great to have you. Charlotte Geller, great to have you. Cheryl Garcia, that means Ben is not too far behind. James Colbert, welcome to the show. Tara, welcome to the show. Uh, Cheryl Moulton, welcome to the show. Corliss Turner, welcome to the show tonight. So, how you guys been? You guys been doing good? Put in the chat what you been up to, what you been doing. Tell everybody what your concerns are. We're going to talk about a few things tonight. One of the things we're going to talk about. Somebody actually texted me, Corliss, before the show here, right before, and asked me, had the Board of Education set its millage rate yet? And the answer to that is no, we had not set the millage rate yet because we had been waiting to get the rollback rate from the county, the assessor's office, and we felt it was going to be sort of flat compared to last year. So we had tentatively, when we were doing our budget, figured our budget up at a 20 meals, which was what we did our set our millage rate at last year, and we figured we were going to have a similar, flat sort of tax thing. And we did get our rollback rate back this week, and we are going to tentatively set that at the rollback rate at our next board meeting, and that is 19.44 is what we're going to set. Is what we're going to propose to be the millage rate is 19.44. Now you remember last year's millage rate was 20. And our tentative rollback rate is 19.44, and that's what we're looking at setting the millage rate back to the rollback rate of 19.44. Now, by doing that, we are not required to have meetings. We're not required to have the hearings. We will post an ad, and what I understand is the ad has been posted to the citizens, which it'll probably, if it didn't come out this weekend, it'll be out next week. So the millage rate again for the Board of Education will be 19.44, which is the rollback rate. And like I said, by setting the rollback rate, the Board of Education is not required to have hearings because we are not raising taxes, and that should be good news for the citizens of Rockdale County. That we're going to set the millage rate at the rollback rate, and will not be raising your taxes. So I think that deserves a hand clap. And then also your board has approved a budget that cut $4 million from last year's budget, which is also, I think, deserves a hand clap. Thank you. So that means, you've asked for fiscal responsibility, fiscal spending, and to be frugal with your dollars, and I believe that we are trying to accomplish that on your behalf. Then also, if you guys did not know, this past Thursday, the Board of Education met and passed and approved the new superintendent's contract. And the new superintendent, we approved a contract of $250 million, $250,000, go crazy, $250,000 annual salary for the superintendent. So we did meet and do that. And Dr. Stephanie Johnson will her first day of work will be tomorrow, first day of school. And that's a big day in Rockdale County, first day of school, which will be tomorrow. And I know you guys are excited about first day of school happening here in Rockdale County. I know I am. I'll be attending uh, some of those uh, things this past week, so that'll be a good thing. Oh yes, Cheryl Garcia, the new superintendent is going to be all in this county. I mean, she is. Uh, Dr. Johnson, I think, is so excited about coming here to Rockdale County, and I think you guys are going to see that excitement and that energy spilling over. And I think you, the citizens of Rockdale County, are going to be very excited, I believe, about the job that Dr. Stephanie Johnson is going to be doing as the new superintendent of Rockdale County Public Schools. Then also, you know, with that being said, I think that I'm excited about our first board meeting, August the 13th. And you guys, I invite you come out to that first meeting. Come out and meet Miss Dr. Johnson. Come out and listen to what she has to say from the first time from the dais. It'll be a great day that first day to see Miss Dr. Johnson in action that first day. So I'm excited about that, and I think you Rockdale County citizens should also be excited about this new chapter that we began. Then also, we did end a chapter on Friday. We had a retirement celebration for outgoing Rockdale County Public Schools Chairman Superintendent Shirley Chesser, as Friday was her last day as superintendent of Rockdale County Public Schools, and that was a nice event that was put on for Miss Chesser, and she will be greatly missed. Charlotte, is it that the planning commission just keeps having those meetings on the same day that we do? I mean, our board of education's meetings have been scheduled for the same days for eons. Uh, so you know what? La di da, la di da, la di da. What do you do? The Board of Education is not going to run its schedule around the Planning and Zoning Commission. So, maybe the Planning and Zoning Commission needs to look and run their schedule around the Board of Education. Just saying. You know what I mean? So, the Board of Education has met on the second and third Thursdays for years. And that is our schedule. And we occasionally do deviate from that if there is a spring break, fall break, or some sort of break that falls on that second or third Thursday. But that is the school board schedule, and and that's the way that cookie crumbles. So it is what it is. But yeah, we're excited about the future for the Rockdale County Public School System under the leadership of Dr. Johnson. I encourage all of you to look up Dr. Johnson, look up her accolades, look what she's done. And I think you'll be very impressed with Dr. Johnson. And more than that, I think you're going to be pleased with the work that she's going to be doing here in Rockdale County. So, and it'll all be transparent and in the open, and you'll be able to see those things. And it was an interesting process picking and choosing the superintendent, and it's something that I actually enjoyed. I enjoyed doing, and don't want to do another one for a while. I'm looking forward to a long tenure with Miss Johnson, Dr. Johnson, and I think she's going to do a fantastic job for us. So, what do you guys have going on out there? What do you think is interesting and going on in good old Rockdale County? I know last time when I was on this, they had the show, I spoke candidly about my opinion regarding the floss, and I had seen that Miss Corliss Turner has put several posts out regarding the floss, and believing it's just a penny swap. It's not a true tax relief, and without a guarantee of, you know, I think I liked one of the last comments that I saw Ms. Turner make, that if the Board of Commission would commit and somehow pass a resolution or a rule that they would not raise the millage rate during the life of the floss, I could probably get on board with supporting the floss. But I'm going to tell you something. Let me ask a question. You homeowners, taxpayers, people who have had homestead property taxes since 2001, since we've had a host. You've had the host, which is a penny tax. But as the millage rate went up and your property taxes also raised, did that penny tax stop outrageous property tax increases? It did not. The whole time we had the host, and especially during the last 6 to 7 years, we have experienced extreme property tax increases. Uh, and having the host didn't stop that. I think it was, I think the penny is used as a bit of trickery. Well, it would have been this if we wouldn't have had the penny. Well, but you still didn't have to raise all those taxes and have the penny. I mean, let's just be real. In my opinion, the penny gives them coverage to actually raise your taxes and say, well, but the penny's covering that. Well, then they raise your taxes again the next year. Well, the penny's covering that. Then they raise your taxes again the next year. Well, the penny's covering. Well, the penny didn't cover all 3 or 4 of those years of tax increases. It won't, right? It will not. It will not cover all those years. Every year they raise it, it didn't cover. Well, then that year, the previous year, then that's just an increase. If they raise it again, then well, that's just an increase. So come on, guys. I mean, don't fall for the trickery. The only way that the floss is an effective tax relief tool is if they don't raise the millage rate or raise taxes. If the millage rate is raised, then it's just a bit of trickery. It's a bit of sleight of hands. Clayton Ulrich, the magical 3-sided penny. Thank you, Coral Clayton. I like that. I mean, it is what it is, right? So, I mean, I myself, actually, Bill, I'm gonna tell you something. In the legislation that created this specific floss. Now, this floss, there's 2 floss. There will be a general floss, which would just go across the board to everybody, but that's not the floss that's being introduced. It's the floss that was created under 581. The 581 floss specifically excluded school districts. Specifically excluded school districts from participating in the floss. So you're 100% right. It is not going to do anything to reduce school property taxes. And like I said, and that's an interesting quagmire. I'm going to tell you, I heard some people this week, and so they were talking about wanting to raise teachers' pay. They were talking about wanting to cut certain parts of the Board of Education budget. They were, and they were talking about, raising teachers' pay, doing all these other things. But I've seen these very same people at meetings opposing data centers. Now, what would be the quickest way to be able to increase teachers' pay in Rockdale County? Probably have some data centers to increase revenue, so you would have additional revenue to be able to pay teachers more and not do it on the burden of a tax increase. Because right now, the only way to increase teachers' pay is to actually do a millage rate increase and to do property tax increase. That's reality. Okay, I'm not. I'm talking reality. That's the only way right now. But if you would allow data centers to come to Rockdale County, then we could do a multitude of things. We would have the additional revenue to where we could actually increase teacher pay to hopefully usher in uh, uh, some new blood into the teaching system. Then uh, we would have the money to actually eliminate uh, certain aspects of property taxes, most likely for senior citizens, and then reduce everyone else's. I'll give you an example of a couple of examples of municipalities and counties that are going to do those sort of things. In November, the city of Covington will be voting to eliminate property taxes for residents in the city with the data center that's coming there. Effingham County, which is down next to Savannah, is going to be developing a $20 billion data center and have already said with that data center money, they will eliminate property taxes. So, you have got uh, entities or counties and cities already who have established a precedent that this is what they're going to do. City of Covington, it is almost a done deal. Their citizens will be voting in November to eliminate property taxes through data center money. Effingham County will be going into an agreement with OpenAI to build a $20 billion data center to eliminate property taxes. If Rockdale County is serious about wanting to reduce or eliminate property taxes, then businesses like data centers are the way to go. Floss, Host, they're not going to eliminate your taxes. And they do a really bad job of disguising tax increases. So if we really want to see, look, we can have data centers in here and we can eliminate the host and the floss if that comes to be. We can eliminate those two things because we're not going to have the property taxes on homestead properties. You won't need those two taxes because the data centers will bring in enough revenue to eliminate those taxes. And then you can reduce those pennies. You know, Kamala talked, they're talking about the 5 assistant superintendent thing. And a lot of that is just titles, right? So those are people who had already worked within the system, who were doing things. They added some additional titles to them. Instead of directors, they became assistant superintendents. Then also part of this year's budget is we decreased central office budget by over $1 million. Last year, we decreased the central office budget by over $4 million. So in the last 2 years, Camilla, we have reduced the central office by $5 million. So please do your research. When you make those comments, do your research and know what the Board of Education has done. The Board of Education has cut funding to the central office in the last 2 budget cycles by $5 million. So again, do some research, make some accurate statements, and that would be appreciated. Thank you for that. So you don't get the tax dollars until the completion, but during the way as they get partial completed and you start paying on that, you would not eliminate the taxes until the total completion, but it would be most likely a phased in thing, Cheryl, that you could do is you could do those. You could do those things as we moved forward, right? So I think that's what we need to look at, right? Is that it all wouldn't come at one time; it would be phased in, and at the time they were, as far as any new data centers that would come to Rockdale County, I don't believe they were not going to get any tax abatements. So as their building goes and they as their projects grow, they would they would pay on that growth. So it would take them probably 4 years or so to be fully built out, and they would be paying 100% of their taxes. And DC Blocks got their abatement. That is what it is. But within year two of them paying taxes, they becoming the highest paid tax entity in the county. So we just got to look at that happens right. Uh, William Campbell, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for Rockdale County. Exactly. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity for Rockdale County to advance and do the right things. Right. So uh, that's what we need to do is we need to do the right thing for Rockdale County, and that is reverse that tax digest. Uh, and that's what we need to do is to do those things. Uh, you know, uh, and I think if we do the right things fiscally, uh, uh, so Camilla, yes, I do agree with approving the DC blocks. I don't know if I would have approved the abatement deal that they did, but from what I understand, there were like 2 to 3 other counties that were in competition with the deep sea blocks facility at the time, and that happened. So yeah, I do agree with the DC blocks uh, bringing that to Rockdale County. And like I said, as someone wanting to lower property taxes and give teachers raises and such, then I see the way to do that through a sound method is to change our tax digest, bring viable businesses in here that can afford to pay property taxes so that we can reduce the burden on homeowners. And um, by doing that, then we're able to lower millage rates, decrease property taxes on property owners, and do the things that we need to do because we will generate additional monies in our uh, coffers. And that's what people here in Rockdale County say. They say, we want lower taxes, we want business development, but breaking. Larry and Oz finally agree on something. Yeah, I guess we did, Camilla. I guess we did. But but I think that's the thing that needs to happen is we need to think out of the box, and we need to realize that uh, some of the things that people would like to see come to Rockdale County are not going to bring tax relief or a reverse of the tax digest. And for true tax relief and a tax digest flip, there are only certain kind of industries that could come to Rockdale County and do that. And I think as taxpayers and as citizens, we just need to realize those things happen and life changes for all of us. And it will change for the better for all of us, especially I believe our seniors, um, because our county is a senior driven county, and just the way our tax base is right now, um, it's hard to take those taxes off of seniors because it's such a large population in the county. And the way that we do that uh, is to grow uh, uh, is to grow our tax base. So that's what I would like to see happen, right? I would love our tax digest to reverse, grow, and be healthy. And I think data centers do that. They flip that tax digest, and they give us the opportunity to give tax relief to our most vulnerable citizens in this county, and that is our senior citizens. And that's something that I'll stand behind and fight for. And that's That's the reality that I believe I live in, and I believe it's the reality that most people live in. Most people would like to see senior tax relief. Most people would like to see a reversal of the tax digest. Um, I just think they want to feel comfortable knowing that data centers don't pose threats that some people say they do. Done a lot of research regarding data centers. I used a lot of independent sources, and I feel comfortable with data centers moving into this county. Uh, we have limited area for that to happen. So we probably get these developments we're going to get in the next couple years with the ones that are applying now. There are really no other locations for those things to go. So once we get those, that's our limit. Uh, because we have limited place to put them. Remember, we all state this second smallest landmass county in the state of Georgia, and that's a fact. So with what limited land we have, we need to take advantage of that and use this once in a lifetime opportunity to uh, to reverse our tax digest and give immediate, almost immediate relief to our senior citizens. And that's what I believe, and that's what I think should happen. Um, and I think it's a great thing. I mean, do you guys want tax relief? Do you want tax relief? The answer is yeah. I've went to meetings for the last decade, and people say they want tax relief, they want economic growth. Then, soon as we propose things or things are proposed to give economic growth, you got 20 people storm the Board of Commission. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want it. Well, I don't think that's the majority of the county that doesn't want it. It's a passionate few that don't want those things. Uh, and that's the reality. It's a passionate few. The majority of the citizens of Rockdale County want sustainable tax relief. They want a reversed tax digest. And you get these things by developing and growing smartly. And that's what I believe that we should do. Uh, and Cheryl, I don't know if the Sigmund Road property is off the table. I've heard several different things that Bucky's may not be dead. We'll have to see. Um, what's going on with that. Well, I think that does another thing that helps in a different way. It doesn't offer, I think, the type of relief that data centers do, but that is a viable uh, option over there. If you have a Bucky's, that I think it would stimulate SPLOS growth, and it would definitely help. It would help with host taxes also in the short run, until we would get the data center monies flowing in to be able to eliminate property taxes. And that's what I think. I think we enter into one of those community uh, uh, community business agreements to be able to do things, and that's what we do, folks. Sometimes we have to make hard decisions, and hard decisions are hard decisions for a reason, because they're hard decisions. Um, and Tina, and Mary, you're right. And then Mary, with the jobs that a Bucky's would bring, right? Uh, and that is something uh, that we need to do. And I believe that that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that we're able to hold uh, everybody accountable. We let businesses develop, but we give them stringent guidelines that they need to follow. And if they don't follow them, then there are consequences. So the thing is right. Um, I believe that uh, at the end of the day, I believe we'll get these data center developments, and I believe that we'll get the tax relief that we need. And I believe when after it's all said and done, everything is going to be okay. Uh, you're not going to have the uproar, the the things that you think you would have. Uh, we'll just see what happens. We will see what happens with it, right? So I don't know. Well, we will find out uh, what's going on with all that. You know, Clayton, I'm gonna tell you something I'm concerned about too. Right now, I mean, I know people are concerned about these things that come in here, but I'm just as concerned about property owners not having the right to develop their property the way they want to. And I know people move to an area and they have expectations. But if you're a property owner, don't you have the right to sometimes develop your property and do things with it the way you want to do? I think we have to be very careful about when we tell people they can't do what they want to do with their property. Just like I believe that I don't believe in property taxes at all, because I believe that you never really own your property while you're paying taxes, and I believe we need to find a way to eliminate that totally. And I do think an elimination of it totally would be to phase into a sales tax way to do it. But I don't think you can have sales tax and property taxes. You have to eliminate the property taxes if you're going to shift to that sales tax, because if you're having sales tax and property tax, you're just having additional taxes. You're not eliminating property taxes. So my thing is I believe that you should outright own your property. And I also have that belief that if it's your property, you should have the right to do with your property what you want. As long as there are rules, guidelines, and protocols in place, if you follow those rules and guidelines, then you do with your property what you want. And I think we need to be very careful um, of us trying to say that that's an interesting thing. You know, so I think that is something we need to look at. Um, I think it is very interesting. So I think that as individuals, we have rights, and as property owners, we should have rights. We should have a good unified development ordinance that we have to follow and go by. But I think in those UDOs, I think it's very difficult to tell me I can't do something with my property, and that's just something that I believe, right? Uh, you know, part of that American freedom thing, part of that, the right we have to be free. So is what it is. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But that's the way I see. So and you guys notice, like, I believe in people having their voice, right? And y'all noticed Miss Camilla's been on here. She's been putting her voice out there, and it's her right to put her voice out there. Just like she said, I didn't agree with, but one thing Oz ever did. Not too certain I agree with much of what she's saying, but she got the right to say what she wants to say. And you know what? And this is an avenue to come on here and say that. And just like I've always said this, I say what I say, and there are consequences to what you say. And Camilla, you need to watch what you say, because there are consequences to what you say and how people perceive and look at you. So, but it's your rights as an American uh, to say what you want to say, and I support that. Don't have to agree with it, but I support your right to say it. You won't have a lot of people that have shows or whatever. First thing they would have did was like go and block her out, right? That's you guys have known me for years. I don't do that. Let people come on and let them say what they want to say, and you know, because this show is called "Speak Your Mind," right? Speak your mind. I speak my mind all the time, and you guys know it, right? It's my opinion. You can agree with my opinion, not agree with my opinion, but it's my opinion. And just the same as I have my opinion, each and every one of you are entitled to your opinion. And I value, and I like actually giving you a place to actually put your opinion out there. But just remember, everybody doesn't agree with everything we say, right? And that's okay, right? It is okay. Uh, Connie, I think that is well, Camille, and that's Mims is right, but I have a feeling a couple of these data centers are going to be approved um, before Miss Mims takes office, and then I don't know if we will have any more after that anyway. Uh, uh, After that anyway, and this is what I know, and I've talked to some property right attorneys about this. If you point blank put in a UDO, you don't allow something, probably opening yourself up for a lawsuit, and that very thing that you said you are not going to allow is going to come because you put it in writing. You're not going to allow it, and they will sue you and most likely win. So the best thing to do in a UDO is to put the regulations and the guidelines to make it very difficult to actually be able to come and do it. Not impossible to do it, but difficult to do it, and it make you cost more than you're willing to pay to do it. That is the philosophy behind a well written unified development order. That is what you do with that. So I believe that before Miss Mims takes office in January, these issues of the couple of uh, locations over here in Sigmund Road are going to be put to bed. It'll be decided, and I don't think we will have future decisions to be made about data centers once Miss Mims takes office. Uh, that's my opinion about that. But we'll see what happens with that. Who knows? You never know, right? You never know. Uh, we will see what happens with these developments as they develop. Clayton, you're welcome. I enjoy doing the show. I always have enjoyed doing the show. Uh, and just to tell you something else, I was talking to the new school superintendent the other day, and she actually told me at some point she wants to come on the podcast. So I will keep you guys abreast uh, uh, about when that's going to happen. Uh, when the new superintendent to wants to come, uh, come on. But I think that's accurate, right? I think that'll happen, and it'll be good to get a new superintendent on the show and talk about education. And I know that's a show that a lot of you would like to actually see, you would attend, and you want to listen to. I know it's something I want to listen to. I'm going to be here and I want to listen to it, right? So, but yeah, that's a good thing. Just so you know, they had a prayer vigil today for all the schools, and they had that at 5 o'clock. And I was very grateful that that happened today. That we prayed for the new school year and prayed over our students, staff, and everyone that will be affiliated with the school system this year. That was a great thing that we did, and I was excited about that, and I'm excited about first day to school tomorrow. So, and I hope you guys are too. If you have kids going to school or grandkids going to school, we'll usher them off into there and see what happens. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited about that. Excited about the future of Rockdale County. Excited about new things that can and will happen. And I'm excited about this show and continuing bringing this show and seeing what happens in the community and letting you know about it, unfiltered, uh, unfiltered and unafraid. So glad to do it. Let's see, folks. It's around 8:45 right now. I believe we have discussed everything that I intended to discuss this evening. And I believe we've had much audience participation this evening. And I am grateful to the audience for their participation. And I am grateful for the continued support of the citizens of Rockdale County and the continued support that I continue to receive from so many of you that reach out to me on a weekly basis and tell me to keep moving forward, keep doing the things I'm doing, that you're in agreement with what I'm doing. I thank you for that, and I thank all of you for everything that you have done to make this community a better community. Uh, so, uh, Corliss, just to remind everybody, we, the Board of Education, will not be having millage rate hearings because we will not be increasing taxes. Um, we are taking the rollback rate, which means we only have to set that rollback rate at our August 13th meeting. So that's what we intend to do. The Board of Education intends to set the rollback rate at the August 13th meeting. Why don't you guys come out, join us at that meeting, and be in attendance while your Board of Education sets the rollback rate to the rollback rate for the first time in I don't know how long. But I hope to see you there. And if I don't, then I'll see you next week on this show, Speak Your Mind with Larry Cox. Thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you next week.